Nosa, look at my face. Look at it. Close that mouth right now. I am begging you in the name of everything holy.
Naomi, I am simply reporting what I saw. Am I a liar? Did God not give me eyes? Are my eyes liars?
Your eyes are not liars, but your mouth is a criminal.
I must talk this one. Oh.
No.
What is a high priest doing with a woman? Is he not supposed to be married to the gods?
So what is he doing with Mazinduka's wife inside hotel at 4 in the afternoon?
In the village of Iguosa, where the red earth swallowed the sun every evening and the mango trees stood like old men watching over the compound, lived a man named Nosa. Nosa was tall, handsome, and blessed with a wide smile. The women of Iguosa said his mother must have fed him honey as a baby because everything about him was pleasant, except one terrible thing. Nosa could not stop talking. From the moment his eyes opened at dawn, words poured from his mouth like water from a broken pot. He talked while eating. He talked while farming. He talked while the whole village slept. His neighbors had nicknamed him Radio without off button. His wife Naomi was the village nurse. She was the woman every person in Iguosa trusted with their life. Women came to her in secret when they were with child. Men came quietly when strange sicknesses visited them. Old people came when their bones could no longer carry them. Naomi kept every secret buried deep in her chest, like gold. But Nosa had no such chest. His chest was full of holes. One Tuesday morning, Naomi had barely stepped into her small clinic when her first patient arrived. It was Benson, the church choir director. He walked in bent over, shame written all over his face. "Sister Naomi," he whispered, "I need medicine. Something happened." Naomi understood. She treated him quietly, gave him medicine, and told him to return in 3 days. That evening, Naomi came home tired. Nosa sat outside with 3 neighbors, cracking palm nuts and laughing. Before Naomi could even remove her shoes, Nosa shouted from the compound, "Ah! Ah! Naomi, I saw Benson entering your clinic today. Oh. That one that sings soprano in choir. What happened to him? He looked like a man carrying sin." The neighbors burst out laughing. Naomi's heart sank to the floor. The trouble had already begun. By the next morning, the whole of Iguosa knew that Benson had visited the clinic. Nosa had not even meant to cause trouble. That night, after the neighbors left, he had continued talking, this time to Mama Eze, the woman who sold akara by the roadside. He mentioned Benson's bent walk, his shameful face, and how he had entered the clinic like a thief entering church. Mama Eze had a mouth almost as wide as Nosa's. By sunrise, Benson's wife had heard. By afternoon, she had packed 2 bags and gone to her mother's house. By evening, the choir had lost its soprano. Benson came to Naomi's clinic trembling, tears on his face. "Sister Naomi, my wife has left. The whole village is laughing at me. How did they know my condition?" Naomi stood very still. Her hands were calm, but her heart was burning. She knew exactly how they knew. That night, the quarrel in Nosa and Naomi's house shook the walls. "Nosa, I have warned you. What I do in that clinic is private. People trust me with their shame, their pain, their secrets. Now you have destroyed a man's marriage." Nosa waved his hand. "I said nothing bad now. I only said he entered the clinic. Is clinic a crime?" "It is what people suspected from your description. You painted a full picture with your mouth, Nosa." Naomi, I am your husband and you are overreacting. Besides, people will forget by tomorrow. People do not forget shame in this village," Naomi said. She slept facing the wall that night. Nosa slept, snoring, unbothered. But outside their window, the village was still talking. Benson spent 3 nights on a bench in his own parlor before his wife returned. He never looked Nosa in the eye again. He stopped greeting Naomi too, because every time he saw her face, he remembered his shame. Naomi lost a patient that day, not to death, to embarrassment, and Nosa still did not understand what he had done. 2 weeks passed. Things cooled down like soup left overnight. Nosa brought Naomi a fresh bunch of plantains, helped her carry water from the well, and sang badly to her until she laughed. That was Nosa's way of apologizing without using the word sorry. Naomi always suffered eventually. She loved the foolish man. Life returned to normal, but normal in Iguosa never lasted long. One morning, Chief Osula's son, a young farmer named Tega, came to the clinic. He was 26, recently married and farming on borrowed money. He had a bad infection on his leg from a roasted hoe. He also had another infection, one that had nothing to do with farming, but with women. Naomi treated both. She charged him fairly and told him, "Come back in 5 days. And Tega, what happens in this clinic stays here." Tega nodded with grateful eyes. That evening, Nosa came home from the farm, buzzing with conversation. Naomi, you know Tega, right? Chief Osula's son. I saw him limping near the clinic today. That boy has been moving up and down since his wedding. I hear he goes to the next village often to see fine women. Naomi stopped stirring her soup. Nosa! But I'm just saying what people are saying, no. Nosa, stop. Naomi replied. He stopped for 3 whole minutes. Then, but is it not strange? A newly married woman with a bad leg and another bad Nosa, Naomi said. He blinked. What? If you say one more word about Tega or about anyone connected to my clinic, see, I will move my bed into the clinic and sleep there. Do you understand me? Nosa laughed. He thought she was joking. She was not joking. Nosa went to the moonlight gathering that night and said nothing about Tega, but he already planted a seed with his earlier words. 3 men at the gathering had heard him. By morning, Chief Osula himself was asking questions. Tega Young's wife was crying in her mother-in-law's kitchen. Naomi heard about it and sat outside her clinic for a long time, staring at the ground. Her reputation was cracking, slowly like a clay pot left in the sun. The women of Iguosa held their monthly meeting under the big udala tree on a Saturday. Naomi usually sat in the front. She was respected. When she spoke, women listened. She had delivered their babies, nursed their children through fever, held their hands when grief came like a flood. But this Saturday, something was different. When Naomi arrived, the chattering slowed. Women shifted. Eyes moved sideways. Mama Eze pretended to be fixing her wrapper. The meeting's chairwoman, Iyawo, called them to order. Then it happened. A woman named Rose stood up. Rose was bold and had a tongue like a matchstick, small but able to start fire. "We want to talk about something important," Rose said. "How safe is our business in the clinic? Because it seems like some things are not staying inside the clinic walls again." The tree went quiet. Naomi felt the words land on her like stones. She stood up slowly. "Rose, if you have something to say it clearly." Rose crossed her arms. "Benson's matter, Tega's matter. Everyone knows things that were supposed to be private, and we all know where the leak is coming from." A few women murmured. Naomi's voice was steady, even though her hands were shaking. "I have never, not once, broken anyone's confidence. Whatever happens in my clinic is sealed by my oath. The problem is not inside my clinic." Everyone knew what she meant. The whole village knew Nosa's mouth. Some women nodded quietly, but the damage was done. 3 women pulled Naomi aside after the meeting and said, They will be going to the clinic in the next town from now on. 3 patients gone. Naomi walked home that evening with a heavy load on her head that no one could see. She sat in the kitchen and did not cook. She did not speak. She just sat there. When Nosa came in singing, she looked at him with eyes that had gone very quiet. Very, very quiet. That quiet frightened him more than any shouting. That night, Naomi told Nosa everything. She told him about the women's meeting. She told him about the 3 patients who had left. She told him about Benson, whose wife almost never returned. She told him about Tega, whose father nearly disowned him over rumors that started from one careless sentence. She spoke without raising her voice. That made it worse. Nosa sat on his stool and listened. For once, he was quiet. But when she finished, he did something terrible. He defended himself. Naomi, I did not tell anyone about their diagnosis. I only made observations. I am not a gossip. I am just a social person. How can a man not talk to his neighbors? Should I seal my mouth with palm oil? Naomi stood up. Nosa, people are leaving my clinic. I worked for 6 years to build trust in this village. 6 years. And your mouth is tearing it down in 6 minutes. This is my work. This is how we eat. This is how I pay for your farm tools. Do you not understand that? You are exaggerating. I lost 3 patients today, Nosa. They will come back. No, Nosa. They went to another town. They would rather travel 2 hours than risk their secrets reaching your mouth. Is that not enough for you to understand? Nosa stood up too, his voice rising now. So, I am the enemy in my own house. I have never sold your secrets. I just talk. It is not a crime to be a friendly person. There is a difference between friendly and reckless. A difference between talking and scattering people's lives, Naomi replied. They stood facing each other, both breathing hard. Then, Nosa said something that cut deep. Maybe the problem is that you think your clinic is more important than your own husband. Naomi stared at him for a long moment. Then she picked up her pillow, walked out of the bedroom, and slept in the parlor. Nosa lay awake alone in the dark. The house felt very large that night. What do you think will happen next? Will Nosa learn from his mistake or will more trouble come? Let me know in the comment section. Also, do well to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next part.